Here is an example combining and, or, and not. Let's say you have a list of ints. And let's say you want to find all ints in the list that are divisible by 2 and by 3, but not by 5. And you also are interested in finding all the ints in a list which are divisible by 2 or by 3, but not by 5. Notice there's a difference between these two. Here I'm using and, here I'm using or. Okay, so I'm going to have is div by. We've seen that before, so I'm not going to discuss it. But I'm going to define a Boolean condition 1 I'm going to use as essentially a filter for deciding whether to take that number out of the list and say it satisfies that condition. And then I'm going to do a similar thing with Boolean condition 2. So if you look at Boolean condition 1, I'm breaking it up. I'm saying bool 1 is equal to divisibility by 3 and divisibility by 2 and by 3. That would be this first part. And then the second Boolean 2, is divisible by 5. And so the Boolean I want to return is bool 1 and, not bool 2. For Boolean condition 2, I want to return bool 1 and not bool 2, but inside this function I define bool 1 as divisibility by 2 ORed with divisibility by 3. So in the main, I set a list of called ints up, which goes from 2 to 29. And I set up two empty list accumulators. L1 is going to take all the numbers from my ints list that satisfy this bool condition 1 and put them in there. And L2 is going to hold all the numbers from ints that satisfy bool condition 2. In a for loop, I traverse the list of ints, and I have two if statements. Please notice that you would not want to use if-else here. You only use if else, if I should say, or and else if you have mutually exclusive conditions and it's not clear that you do here, and in fact you don't. So you want to use two ifs. If Boolean condition 1 is true for num, you dot append it into L1. If Boolean condition 2 is true for num, you dot it into L2, and then you print it out. Print each one of them out. Here's L1 and here's L2 with a double line space in between. So let's go ahead and run that. Okay, so the list is 1 through 29, and the numbers from that list that are divisible by 2 and by 3 but not by 5 are 6, has to be divisible by both, 12, 18, and 24. And the integers in the list that are divisible by 2 or by 3 but not by 5 are all of these. And so if you go through them one by one, 2 is divisible by 2, so it's in there, not divisible by 5. 3 is divisible by 3 and not by 5, and so that's in there. And so remember that 2 is in there because although it's not divisible by 3, it is divisible by 2, and if you OR a true and a false together, you get a true. And so that puts 2 in, that puts 3 in, 4, 6, 8. All of these numbers are divisible by 2 or by 3 or by both, and no divisibility by 5.